Okay, imagine this. Imagine being born when people are still getting around in horse-drawn carriages, but you live long enough to see the dawn of the internet. Well, one woman actually did that, and her incredible story, it holds a secret for all of us about how to live a longer, healthier life. Her name was Jeanne Calment. She was born way back in 1875. Get this, she was 14 years old when the Eiffel Tower was built. She was 39 when World War I broke out. By the time Neil Armstrong walked on the moon in 1969, she was already 94. When she finally passed away in 1997, the world was a completely, fundamentally different place. She lived to be 122 years old. That makes her the oldest verified human being who has ever lived. And that record? To this day, no one has been able to break it. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. Was Jeanne Calment just insanely lucky? Did she just win the genetic lottery? Or is there something more to it? How much of a long life is just pure chance, and how much can we actually control? Well, to answer that, let's start by tackling the biggest assumption that most of us have, that living a long life is all about your genes. So scientists wanted to figure this out once and for all. They designed this landmark piece of research called the Danish Twin Study. They looked at over 2,800 twins to see what really mattered more for longevity. Was it their shared DNA, or was it their unique lifestyles and the world around them? And the results were honestly stunning. It turns out our genes only account for about 20% of our lifespan. A full 80%, 80, is determined by our lifestyle and our environment. That means the choices we make are 4 times more powerful than our DNA. So, the bottom line here is, this isn't about luck. It's about action. The way we eat, the way we move, how we connect with people, it has a massive impact on not just how long we live, but how well we live. Okay, so if lifestyle is the key, how do we find the right one? Well, the smartest way is to do a little reverse engineering. Let's find the people who are already living these incredibly long, healthy lives and just see what they're doing. This is what led researchers on this incredible mission, and they discovered what they called blue zones. These are these unique little pockets around the world where people not only live the longest, but they have the highest number of people living to be 100 years old or even more. And they found 5 of these longevity hotspots across the globe. We're talking about the mountains of Sardinia in Italy, the islands of Okinawa, Japan, a community in Loma Linda, California, all the way to Ikaria, Greece, and the Nicoya Peninsula down in Costa Rica. So after years of study, the researchers found something amazing. Even though these communities were all over the world, they all shared 9 specific lifestyle habits. They call them the Power 9, and they're the common threads that tie all of these extraordinary people together. Now, 9 habits can feel like a lot to remember. So to make it really simple, we can group them into 4 core pillars: how they move, how they eat, how they connect, and how they unwind. Okay, let's dive into this. First up, move. Now, people in blue zones, they don't go to the gym or run marathons. It's not like that. Instead, their entire world is set up to encourage constant, natural movement. They walk to a friend's house, they work in their gardens, they do chores by hand. It's really the exact opposite of our modern lives, where we drive everywhere and then sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. Next up is how they eat. And there are 3 key habits here. First, the 80% rule. This is an Okinawan practice of stopping eating when you feel about 80% full. Second, a plant slant. Their diet is about 95% plants, so tons of beans, whole grains, and veggies. And third, the observation that some zones had moderate regular wine consumption. But there's a really important update on that last one. So while some of the older research suggested that maybe a glass of red wine could be healthy, the latest science is crystal clear on this. The healthiest amount of alcohol is 0. Any benefits people thought came from the wine actually just come from the antioxidants in the grapes themselves. So the people in blue zones are living long despite drinking wine, not because of it. All right, the third pillar is all about how they unwind. They have these daily rituals to downshift and shed stress. Things like napping, prayer, or maybe a happy hour with friends. But it's not just about daily stress. They also have a really strong sense of purpose. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai, which means a reason for being. In Costa Rica, it's plan de vida, or life plan. It's that thing that gets them out of bed in the morning. And just how important is that sense of purpose? Well, according to the lead researcher, Dan Buettner, Simply knowing your purpose in life is worth up to 7 extra years of life expectancy. 7 years! That's incredible! And the final pillar? Connect. And this one is huge. People in blue zones put their loved ones first. They keep their family close. They belong to a faith-based group or some other strong social community. And they create what they call a right tribe, a circle of friends who support and practice these healthy habits right alongside them. Because let's be honest, behaviors, both good and bad, are contagious. The power of community is just staggering. Research found that just attending a faith-based service 4 times a month was linked to an increased life expectancy of anywhere from 4 to 14 years. That is the power of belonging. So after seeing all of this, you might be thinking, okay, that's great for them, but isn't that just a fluke of where they live? Can these ideas actually be applied anywhere? Is it possible to engineer a blue zone on purpose? The answer is a resounding yes. And the best proof we have is Singapore. Over decades of really intentional public health policy and urban planning, Singapore has completely transformed its population's health, increasing life expectancy by an incredible 25 years. It's a serious candidate to be the world's 6th and first man-made blue zone. So how'd they do it? Well, the government made very specific policy choices. They subsidized healthy food and they taxed junk food. They designed their cities to encourage walking and made it super expensive to own a car. They even offer tax breaks for people who live near their elderly parents, which reinforces that family connection. They basically engineered the blue zone principles on a national scale. So the takeaway from all of this is actually incredibly empowering. A long and healthy life isn't just an accident of birth. It's the result of all the small choices we make every single day, supported by an environment that makes those healthy choices the easy choices. Which leaves us with one final, and I think really important question. This isn't about changing everything overnight, because that's impossible. It's about starting somewhere. So what's the one small blue zone habit you can bring into your life starting today?